CBN disobeys Supreme Court order, insists on enforcing deadline on old Naira notes. Atiku's Rivers rally cancelled to prevent debts, PDP announces. Tinubu vows to continue Buhari's developmental programs. And also coming up on Politics HQ, Tunisia arrests more prominent critics of President Kais Saied. The United Nations Rights Office seeks to stay put in Uganda after being asked to leave. Chief Olabode George, a PDP chieftain, is my guest today on the program. Stay with us. Politics HQ. We'll be right back. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has been the major opposition party for the last 8 years in Nigeria, and this has been seen in different lights by Nigerians who previously faced 16 years of the PDP stay in power. With barely 2 weeks to the 2023 general elections, the PDP is pushing to regain the power which was in its control for nearly 2 decades. The presidential candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar, is a politician of great experience at the polls, but as he vies becomes Nigeria's president after about 3 or more attempts, Nigerians are waiting to see what's next. Other than that, the ruling party, the PDP, also has the fast-growing Labour Party and the NNPP to face in an election described as the most important yet in Nigeria's modern democratic history. How bright are the PDP's chances? Is the party capable of unseating the ruling party? What can Nigerians expect from the polls? And Politics HQ today, I have an experienced politician, a chieftain of the PDP, ready to talk to me about the prospects of a party and development in the country ahead of the coming elections. Welcome to Politics HQ. I am Gbenga Aborowa. Chief Olabode George, PDP chieftain, good to have you here on the program. Thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure for me to discuss politics and the state of the nation.
We're happy to have you, sir. Now, Chief George, this year makes it the 24th year of our uninterrupted democratic experience, the longest we've had as a nation. In those 24 years, your party, the PDP, was in power for 16 years. What's your assessment of our state of democracy in Nigeria?
Now, you know, any Nigerian, either my age group, those older or younger, will tell you that the political situation in this country today calls to question. Most of the time, you know, when you have a political party in power, they would have campaigned that they will do A, they will do B, they will ameliorate the sufferings of this country. But I bet you, nobody, including members of the APC, can categorically tell Nigerians that they have done so well. Right now, no cash, no petrol, no food, no fuel, no power. Was that what they promised 8 years ago? And for you to appreciate what I'm saying, recently the CNC himself apologized to Nigerians that yes, he feels the pain they are suffering. That's an acceptance of failure on the APC. Now, you know, in civilized countries, people, the party in power would have apologized and would have accepted that they failed. Mm-hmm. But what do? What have we seen? They are junketing, they are parading, they even have the audacity, the penchants to tell us that yes, we are ready, we are contesting, we want to continue the development programs of General Buhari in power. Oh, I pray for my nation.
Now, Chief George,
I pray for my nation. Because,
Chief George, I'm happy that in your opening statements you did talk about the general, the current state of the nation. It's just a few days to the general elections. Nigeria is facing its worst currency scarcity in history. We also have the fuel scarcity. The Supreme Court gave Nigerians some respite after its judgment. What do you make of the CBN's Naira swap policy, and are there political undertones to it? There's a school of thought that feels that, you know, there's a sabotage of this. What's your take, sir?
No, quite honestly, let me tell you my own feelings. The concept enunciated by the president that they want to mop up the old Naira notes because some people have turned their homes into banks where bullion vans can drive in and drive out. Now, he was ensuring the G7 countries that these coming elections will be free, it will be fair, and we want to bring Nigeria to the level of civilized countries in the world. Now, brilliant concept to mop up all those monies that have been stored and stolen and stored in their homes. But the procedure of trying to achieve that and get the new notes is what I disagree completely with that procedure. And that is what has put every Nigerian in this quagmire. I mean, what has mopping up of Naira? You want to make sure that those who have stolen the money and kept them in their homes are punished. What has it got to do with Mami Market? What has it got to do with the other Nigerians who have no business in that?
Chief George, how do you
have been put in the same basket?
How do you suggest it could have been
whether
done?
Central Bank is telling them, oh, that is private. I would have suggested my own method of resolving it. You know, look, you know those who are involved. I mean, we have security agents in this country. We have the National Security Advisor. We have the Director General of the SSS. You have all kinds of media by which you can locate those who have stocks of money. Bullion van, have you ever seen any bullion van, even near my house? They know where bullion vans have gone during election time. They know those who have kept so much money in their homes. But to put every Nigerian in the same basket, throwing us straight down to the bottom of the sea, it is wicked. It doesn't make well for civilized approach. You cannot put Peter's sin against those who have not sinned. Right now, I don't have a single kobo. Am I going to be going to the bank to fight at my level? And then what about the poor people? The houseboys, the drivers, the low-level people. You know, public office is a public trust. People believe that if we vote for you, you will go there, manage the resources of this country for the betterment of the people. Now, you know those who have committed this crime, you know those who are culpable. Go for them. Now, we are all in the quagmire. I'm hearing stories from the central bank. They don't have enough money to print. This is just about 10 days before the general election. For God's sake, what is going on here? We are now back to the Stone Age of trade by barter. If you have Gary and I have something else that you require, then you give me your Gary, I give you. Is that the state of Nigeria, the giant of Africa? Something is wrong. Something has gone wrong. And what do you find? cacophony of voices, some of them within the same party, accusing the president and disagreeing with themselves, making suggestions and saying that that policy is wrong, they should have left it, they should have left the old notes. Come on, is that I said it from time immemorial that the ruling party is a congregation of strange bedfellows. That's why they cannot agree on anything. And to insult Nigerians, you find them parading themselves and saying they are campaigning. They want to woo Nigerians to vote for them. I pray to the Almighty God that as Nigerians, irrespective of political parties now, as you go to the polls, please think very deeply. Are you better off today than 8 years ago? Look at those who are contesting. Remove the facade. Take them on and examine them. Do they have the capacity? Do they have the loyalty? Do they have the temerity to handle this nation at this particular point in view? I feel really sad. The giant of Africa, for every 10 Africans, 6 of them are Nigerians. We have brains in this country, all over Nigeria. Look at the resources that the Almighty God gave us. The agricultural resources, mineral resources, human resource. Presently, the Deputy Secretary of Treasury in America is a Nigerian. Look at the other young lady who was contesting to be British Prime Minister. We have them all over. Why can't we manage ourselves? We still see ourselves through the prism of tribalism. Please, this is a do or die election. We must open our eyes, open our brains, forget your tribes, forget anything about I am from here, I belong to this party. Look at the man who is presenting himself. What have they done in the past? Because it's public trust. They are asking us, trust me, I will manage the resources of this nation for your benefit. Have they done that? Where we are today, no money, no cash.
Now, Chief George,
no petrol, no food. So where are we going?
Now, Chief George,
it's very demeaning. Very heart-wrenching.
Chief George, now let's talk about your party, the People's Democratic Party, and its chances in the upcoming elections. There's a saying that a house divided cannot stand on its own, and there has been insinuations that the G5 group were supporting the APC presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Just how critical is the endorsement of the G5 governors to your party's candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, emerging as the winner of the elections? And what's the current status? Is there still room to make amends?
You know, let me say this. There is no organization in the world, either political or otherwise, that you won't have disagreements. But the civility involved is that, yes, you can disagree on issues, but you must not be disagreeable. Our party, we have a little problem. There are differences now in the opinion of the top managers of the party. We are looking at it, and I pray that rationality will get into the play rather than individual interest and individual attitude. The major issue we have, you know, the founding fathers created an environment that was national in its outlook, that was brilliant in its outlook, that brought inclusivity into the operation of a political party. The first time we have a national political party rather than the tribal political parties of the past. Now, what do I mean by that? They came together in 1998, created 6 zones of the country, both the majority and minority people, both north and south. They divided Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones, and there are 6 top positions in the land: the president, the vice president, the senate president, the speaker, the secretary to the government, and national chairman of the party. Every zone will go home with one position, highly respectable, rational position that will make them to be more inclusive in the discussions and deliberations of the management of the resources of this country. And there had been a little bit of movement as it is presently. Number 1 position now is from the Northeast, presidential candidate, Northeast. National chairman, North Central. Director General of the campaign is Northwest. Vice presidential candidate is from the South. Then the acting board of trustee chairman is from the Southeast. Where is the representative of the Southwest? Nobody. How do you then convince me to go to this rostrum in the Southwest and campaign effectively for my party? You are telling us after election we will consider what you give to Southwest. No. We want something before the election. But you know, the beauty of it is 24 hours in politics is a very long time. Now we still have about 10 days before election. So if you multiply 24 by 10 days, that's a lot of hours. So I am still hoping, and I mean it, that something will work out. The man, because a divided house will be a defeated house. We cannot afford this, and that's why I am talking at this level with so much compassion in me. I am an irredentist PDP man. Don't let us veer away from the way the founding fathers conceptualized this party. If we do, I'm not a soothsayer, I don't look at crystal balls, and I'm not God. We may win. But what is involved when you have some people who are part and parcel of the decision making, and the whole Southwest, the largest electoral state in this country today is Lagos State. What do you have to offer us to convince our people that that is the direction to go? We have seen the shenanigan brought about by the APC in government. No cash, no petrol, no food, no power, no electricity, and no water. So is that the kind of way we want to go? Tell me now, whether you are a rich man or a poor man, this point, whether you are happy.
Chief George, I admire your spirit of optimism, and you rightly said 24 hours is a long time in politics, and we still have 10 days before the general elections. Today happens to be Valentine's Day. So perhaps in the spirit of Valentine, do you see a reconciliation of the G5 governors with Atiku Abubakar, Atiku, and also finding a position and ways to, placate the southwestern zone?
Yeah, thank God you mentioned it. The Valentine, a reflection of the love that God gave every human spirit. Love your neighbor as yourself. What you will not accept, don't do it to your other neighbor. I believe this today, being Valentine's Day, I want to appeal to our people, all those teeming millions who believe in the concept of our party. A divided house is a defeated house. I want to appeal on this Valentine's Day. will be Valentine days. They come every year. Let us regard today as a special day on all sides. The major decision lies on our flag bearer and those who surround him. You want to be president? President of all Nigerians, not president of a secluded group. That is the beauty. That is the love you must radiate. If you don't do that, I don't know what I'm not God, but the Almighty God in his own wisdom has told us that, we must work together, love your neighbor as yourself, treat your neighbor as you would treat yourself. So with that sense of passion, on a special day, like today being the Valentine's Day, let them stretch their love, let them stretch their sincerity, their commitment, the love for all Nigerians, irrespective of their tribe. If we don't do that, don't let us miss this opportunity. This election is a very major deciding factor for the future of this country.
Now, Chief George,
how do I face my people? How would I tell them? What do I say? PDP is going to bring here. You tell them, go and vote. After election, we will consider you. Like they say in my local parlance, Obodori, Kusobondori mo.
Now, Chief George, you described yourself.
That's the way they say it in my local parlance. I don't know how I'm going to translate that to English, but it will lose the luster. It will lose the flavor if I have to translate it. Treat your neighbor as yourself. And please, all Nigerians, there is nothing as powerful as prayers. There is nothing as good as putting God first. When I hear people talk about Emiloko, is it a hereditary thing? Is it a family affair? What have you done to be Iwolokon? Please don't insult the good people of this country. And I plead with them, as you go to the polling stations with your polling PVCs, think, am I going to, would he help my children? Would he make life more easier for me to feel secured at home? That my family will also be rest assured that we have a government. And what is democracy? Democracy is about the people. The people themselves must decide. The will of the people must be respected. I want to congratulate the government too for enforcing that there will be a new procedure of the democratic practice, unlike before, when everybody will manipulate, they write all kinds of figures and all that. They call that democracy. We saw where it has landed us. Please, Chairman of INEC, the failure or success of any leader will be on the pages of history. Let your own be special. Mr. President, let this season, and you have said it, all you want is justice, fairness, and equity. Let the will of the people be respected. If we do that, the whole of Africa will tag along, and there will be peace in Black Africa.
Chief George, a fine place to go on a break. When we return from this break, we will be looking at the PDP's presidential candidates, the preparedness of the electoral umpire, INEC, and also issues that the incoming president of Nigeria will be facing. Don't go anywhere. This is Politics HQ. Stay with us.
News Central TV, Africa's #1 storyteller, has come with the best of both worlds. With a combination of news app and live TV, we ensure that you keep track of the latest headlines, breaking news, and in-depth analysis from professional journalists from around the continent. Download the News Central TV app on Android and iOS and get started today. Don't forget to follow us on News Central's social media platforms. News Central, Africa First.
Welcome back to Politics HQ on News Central Television. My guest this evening is a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Olabode George, and we're looking at the state of the nation and also the chances of the now opposition People's Democratic Party in the upcoming general elections. Now, Chief George, you did describe yourself in the course of our conversation tonight as an irredentist PDP man. Now, why should Nigerians vote for your presidential candidate? What does he have above the other candidates?
You know, a very good question. He is not a new man in the system. He has been tested. He has done his bit. No human being is perfect. But if we have to consider his attitude to governance, his pedigree, and his knowledge about this nation, you will put him quite ahead. But like I said, there is no perfect human being. There are certain flaws in every human being. Nobody is perfect before the Almighty God. You always aspire, you try, and then you listen to messages, you listen to people who are observing you. As they correct you, you make amends as you go. That's why I said, before I will completely throw myself behind our candidate, there are certain amendments. You know, the mistakes that the top managers of the party have made that are not acceptable to me as a person. I am hoping that all the G5 governors too who are saying, no, there are certain things that are wrong here. Let's sit down and talk to ourselves. Because if we don't, we are sending a wrong message to Nigerians that this group doesn't matter or that tribe doesn't matter. Yes. Are we running a national government or a sectional government? Those are issues that are at play now, and we must be prepared to listen, because governance is about, you must be a servant of the people. You know, voice populi, voice Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of the Almighty God. So let us calm down from our high horses and do what Nigerians want. We've been able, the founding fathers of our party created an enabling environment where inclusivity became the major word in our political environment. Don't discountenance any group and think, yes, you can be there. Yes, you can be in the villa. But would there be peace? If you have and I don't have, and we're in the same organization, in the same country, you think there will be peace? This is not a military administration. This is a civilian administration. And the power of the people, so vital, so important to stabilize this country. There's no Obo anymore here. What you will not like to be done to you, don't do it to anybody else. That should be the cardinal point. We are moving forward. And like you said, we should compare. He has the experience. He has seen it before. He married from the Yoruba land here. So his first 5 children speak the Yoruba language. They're embedded here. Why should we you have the experience? Why would you discountenance all we are asking you to do? You know, do it for the sake of this country, not for your sake and the group who are telling you we don't matter. Please, if he does that, he will stand way above all the others. The Emiloko man here, we know I'm from Lagos State. How would I see him near government house? How?
Now, Chief
But
George.
that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
But Nigerians must see, they must hear.
Chief George, Nigeria has a history of political violence which has undermined the credibility of the electoral process. The entire world will be looking at how we perform next week. But just over the weekend, the Labour Party held its presidential rally here in Lagos, and a number of its supporters were attacked and injured. How can the Nigerian government ensure the safety of voters and prevent attacks on election infrastructure? And what role can civil society organizations, security organizations play in promoting peaceful and transparent elections?
Now, you're quite right. You know, the beauty of this process is such that the BVR that we are using, the electronic transmission,
Yes.
automatic transmission, and we can key in and see it, BVR. Now, I want to appeal to those young minds. You know, I can talk about my state. I am from Lagos Island. I was born there. I went to school there. I grew up there. Today, it is a squalor. It is a complete squalor. A decent area for people to live. Why? It's not all of us who will have the opportunity to have primary school, secondary school, university education, and graduate, and then who has taken care of the millions of those young people who are there? Devil's, how do they say?
Idle mind is the devil's playground.
It's a devil's, and idle hand is a devil's workshop. I feel for those kids. When I was young, we had trade centers. We had also centers, domestic something for women. It's not everybody who will have the ability, the capacity to go to secondary school, university. Where are those trade centers? Skill acquisition centers. Look, I grew up in Evans Street. I went to St. John's Primary School in Aroloya. I was a very good footballer in Isaledogon, where we call it Onola. The elders at that time organized us into clubs. There was 5G Boys and Girls Club. You will go there, they train you how to do boxing, how to play table tennis. They engage you after school hours. Those who couldn't go to secondary school had some, they went to the trade centers to learn carpentry, learn masonry, learn painting, and the women will learn how to bake, how to make fashion, whatever. So you are also equally employed. Let me appeal to these kids. Please, don't let them use you as cannon fodder. Let them bring their own children first. Don't go and, because if you are shot by the police or the army, you just die like a chicken. I want to promise you that the government that is going out of Lagos completely neglected the base of the pyramid. They are there hopeless, a state of helplessness, a state of hopelessness, and there's no future for them. We will ensure that we will train you, we will give you trade that will make you proud, and we will have a special fund in every local government that will make sure that at the end of your training, there will be interest-free loan for you to start your jobs. Not this the absolute nonsense that somebody, but he took care of his children. The one that is making the advert in Lagos is Bola Tinubu's son. The one that is Yoloja of Lagos is Bola Tinubu's daughter. So what about the children of the others? And I am so ashamed of our elders who are parading themselves, running around him. What is happening? There is absolute decadence, idiocy, violent behavior. They smoke and take cocaine, and the whole area is no longer where I was proud when I was growing up.
I would like to come in here, Chief George, because I see the passion at which you recall your childhood memories in Lagos, and looking at the current state of things, I can feel your anger and on the lack of accountability and impunity. So let's talk about the PDP in Lagos, your base. Do you have confidence in the candidate of your party, the gubernatorial candidate, Adediran Olajide, popularly known as Jandor, to change these things and bring back Lagos to its glory years?
You know, remember when we spoke earlier, I said, remove the facade. Take the individuals behind all those political parties. Because ideological differences, where are they? What's the difference in terms of ideology from APC, PDP, and Labour, and SDP, and whatever?
Not a lot.
Take the individuals who are presenting themselves. Let us look at them. What has this chap done before? Can we trust him with the resources of this massive state? Who will now manage the resources of our land for the benefit of our people? We have come to a stage. Forget about the political parties now. Let's take them as individuals. Remove the facade. As individuals, and I want to beg of you guys in the media, bring them up. Let them debate in the local language, debate in English, official language, and let us see them. What do they have? These issues that I've just discussed, I'm discussing it because now I'm 80 years old soon, and then what am I going to tell my own children? I am a Lagosian, very proud of it. But when we were growing up, irrespective of where you come from, they made sure that you have a tool, you have a skill. Those of you who want to go into higher colleges, so be it. But now, the kids grow up there, they keep roaming around. Any little thing, they jump on the bandwagon of violence. Some will be shot, some will be killed at that early age. Where is security? The major security is when you have a job. That's security. The major security of life and property is when you have a job, if you are gainfully employed. But if you are not, any little thing there, you join them. So I want to appeal to these kids, and like I said, remove the facade. Let, what is his name, the governor of Lagos, come out, tell us.
What about your candidate?
We can see it.
Jandor, would he do a better job than the APC candidate?
Yeah, he is also. Look, I am saying, for me, I will not divulge my impression of any individuals. I have come to an age where I believe I want to be non-partisan at this level, because all of them are well known to me. You know, let the people, because I spent 25 years in the military. Now, this year is my 25th year in politics. 50 years of my life in the service of this country. I believe it's time for me to take a bow after this election. I will no longer be partisan, and I am starting on that journey. Remove the facade in all these people, both Jandor, Rose Vivor, and Sanwo-Olu. I know them very well. Look at them too. Who will be able to solve the problem of our state? Fortunately, they are all Lagosians. You know, they have homes here, they grew up here, they've done this, they've done that. Let us re-examine them one by one. Who has the capacity? Who has the temerity? Who has that strong belief that, yes, this we can do, and do successfully?
Now, so, Chief George, before we wrap up,
younger generation, if you look at the base of the population of the younger generation, people of my age, very few. The younger generations must open their eyes. Ask them questions, because they are asking you to trust them, that you manage the resources of this country, of our land, for their benefit. What have you done in the past? In your private enterprises, what did you do before?
Now, Chief
Where
George,
did you come from? What have you done?
Just before we wrap,
those are the things.
Okay. Just before we wrap up the conversation tonight, this very interesting conversation on PHQ, I'm happy you mentioned that you've served Nigeria for 50 years of your life, and you were lucky to live through pre-independence, through independence, to the Nigerian Civil War, and you're still very active today with us in present-day Nigeria. I'd like to conclude by asking you this question. Nigeria is an economic and cultural powerhouse in the region. I'm sure when we got our independence, there were a lot of hopes for this country, with a population of over 200 million and a diverse economy. So how can the government, the incoming government, leverage this strength and our huge diaspora to promote? You did mention Kemi Badenoch, you mentioned the Assistant Secretary of Finance in the United States. How can we leverage in this powerful diaspora to promote regional and global development? What opportunities does Nigeria's trajectory pose for the continent and beyond?
Thank you for this question. You know, the type of system we are running, it's appalling. It is not working. The constitution of this country needs to be revisited. When President Jonathan was president, there was a national conference. We revisited it. They drafted those areas that we thought we should be able to handle and make amends. The restructuring issue is a sine qua non. What we are doing is absolutely military in its outlook. We copied the American system. Yes, the President of the United States is a very powerful man. But each state has their functions. And they cut the coat in each state according to available cloth. If you can cover only your eyes, so be it. If it covers only your stomach, so be it. California is the largest state in America. Maine is the smallest. They don't compare themselves. So restructuring is a major, major, major issue in this country. If we don't do it and we continue the way we are going, I'm sorry, we will end up in a bottomless abyss. It is not working. I served in the military, where, you know, camaraderie, we don't look at ourselves on the basis of your zones or your tribe. My best friend today I met in the military is a Fulani man. He's my best friend. But when it comes to governance, inclusivity, respectability, these are issues. You cannot treat A separately and treat B separately. We want to be like the developed countries in the world. Take the United Kingdom. They call themselves the United Kingdom. It's a union of Scottish people, the Welsh, the English, and the Irish. You know, they now have agitations. The Scots are saying we want to break out of the union. The Welsh are saying the same. The Irish are saying the same. So, something that has existed for over centuries, they are now coming to a point where they say, look, yes, we will have a relationship, but not everything to the House of Commons in London. We want to decide which way for us. How do we get there? How do we make life more meaningful to our people? It is their right. Where is the USSR today? Where is Yugoslavia today? So these are things, and the American model we have. If you copy, let's copy it fully. We're not saying go to hell to anybody. All we are saying is we want to manage ourselves pretty well. The British did not manage us properly.
Okay.
The 1914 amalgamation was purely on economic basis.
Chief George,
so let's revisit it. We had written a report. We wrote a report. When General Buhari came, Jonathan handed over the report to him. And all we had was that, we are going to do a town hall meeting from that time till now. If we continue on this path, we are just fooling ourselves. It's not working. It is so militarized, the structure. One person at the top, all the other people at the bottom. No. What is good for the gander, for the goose, is also good for the gander.
And on that prophetic note, Chief George, I would like to say an absolute big thank you to you for your time. I'm afraid we've run out of time on the guest. On the show. Thank you very much for your time. I did enjoy our conversation, and we look forward to having a part 2, perhaps after the elections. Thank you for your insights and contribution, Chief Olabode George, PDP Chieftain.
My pleasure.